I wanted to talk about Polk today because when historians rank the greatest presidents, they often think of Washington, Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt. Some would talk about Thomas Jefferson. Polk doesn't really come up all that much, and even when you, the viewer, rank the greatest presidents, likely not a historian, although can't say for certain, rank the greatest presidents, Lincoln and Washington probably come up. And absolutely that's valid. If I were to do a list of the greatest presidents, it would probably be Washington and Lincoln at the top of my list, absolutely. But Polk would not be too far behind, because over the last few weeks I've done some real research on him, and things start with how he became president in the 1844 convention. Back then, the convention process was very different to what it is now. These days, the convention process is just the formal nominating process for the candidate. Going into the convention, the party is 99.9% certain who the nominee is going to be. We've already voted on it, and now we just got to make it official here at the convention. That was not the case in 1844. Polk went to the convention as a delegate, trying to select a nominee along with the other delegates from Tennessee and across the nation. But the party could not agree on who to nominate, and so they went with Polk. Polk went into the convention as a delegate, but by the end, he was the man. The campaign promises really resonated with a lot of Americans. This is going in late into the antebellum period, ultimately just 15 years or so away from the Civil War. And before we do get into what those promises were and more of the Polk legacy, it would be a huge assist if you could subscribe to the channel. It's the very best way to support the hard work I do to produce these videos. And now let's get back into things. His big promise was America first. A lot of the anti-Polk argument that I have seen is hinged on way too much violence. Just a few too many wars going on. And that's a totally valid argument. It absolutely is. But the pro-Polk argument is we've got to put our country first. Doesn't matter how much it takes. That's not the full extent of the pro-Polk argument. There is more to that as we'll go through. But he really idolized Andrew Jackson. Jackson being Old Hickory, Polk being Young Hickory. Polk put the country first and did whatever it take to meet the needs of the American people. That was a big thing that he talked about. But as for the promises specifically, the economy, he wanted to create an independent treasury, which he did, and his tariff policy really resonated with a lot of Americans. As for the expansion, and this is where things get divisive with Polk. The Oregon Territory, owned by Britain in what is now Western Canada, Polk said, hey Britain, let's divide the line at the 49th parallel, make it a nice even line. And Britain said, no, let's make the Columbia River. No fuss, no muss with borders, just make it this river. It's going to be super obvious. Everyone's going to know where they are. So there was disputed territory, and we went to war, right? The U.S. won that war, and that's why the 49th parallel is the U.S.-Canada border out west, for the most part. As for Mexico, it's a really similar story. Mexico said, here's where I want the line to be. Polk said, here's where I want the line to be. There was disputed territory, and so the two nations went to war. And this is the nucleus of the anti-Polk argument. Too many wars. That's Polk's style. Really, he was an America first, meet the needs of the American people. Whatever it takes to get the job done, I will do. Put America first. He often sacrificed sleep to meet the needs of the American people, ate very quick meals, probably didn't get a lot of exercise. It's not a healthy lifestyle. That's why he died very shortly after leaving office. There is no denying that he was America first. There is no denying that he got the job done. He overworked himself. That is definitely a part of why he died. DC water is part of it too. We remember with William Henry Harrison, right? He died from drinking the DC water. But there was also Polk. He contracted cholera. He was looking forward to retirement for most of his presidency, so he was like, all right, just a few more late nights, then I'm off to retirement. That's it. Off I go. And then he took a tour across the country. He contracted cholera, both from the DC water, overworking himself, and then it's possible that some of the illness came when he was on that tour, and he died just about 3 months after leaving office. So ultimately, he expanded the country's footprint. The idea of manifest destiny really resonated with a lot of Americans. So he expanded the country's footprint. Absolutely he did. A lot of wars, Guadalupe Hidalgo in Mexico, and then 49th parallel debate with Britain. So there was violence, but he put the country first. Very similar policy style to Andrew Jackson. So leave your thoughts and comments down below. I will be reading them. Absolutely pro-Polk, anti-Polk. There's a middle ground. Ultimately, there's the extreme, Polk was great. There's the extreme of Polk was terrible. I, like 99.9% of us, fall somewhere in the middle. So let me know where you stand, and I will see you next week.